Well, it's a really wild and blustery evening, and the temperature's cooled down a lot today, and there's definitely going to be rain, but I've come down here to see if I can find a certain moss that is growing here, and I know it does grow here, and surprisingly enough, it's the only moss I've been able to find in this semi-wooded area. So let's go down and see if we can find it. It's a really common moss, and it's something I call the serpent moss because its name is Brachythecium serpens. Let's see if we can find some. And this plant is known for growing on old stumps, logs, stones, etc. Let's see if we can find some, but there really should be more mosses growing here than there are. And I don't know why there aren't any, because it's quite damp here. But this is the east of England, really. And it's the west of England that tends to pick up and develop mosses that grow in woodland. And here's a stone. And here's moss growing on it, and it's certainly Brachythecium. Oh, maybe it isn't. No, maybe it's not. It's not Brachythecium. In fact, I'm not sure what it is. But this one's growing on a rock. I'm sure Brachythecium can be found here. So let's look a bit further and see if we can find some. Right, here's another patch of moss growing on a stone, and I'm pretty sure that this is the serpent moss, Brachythecium serpens. Let's get them a bit closer to it. Yeah, I think it probably is. And as I'm walking down, you can see that this is a bare path, really. And we have this path is really a cut through between two main roads, and it's trodden very heavily, and people bring their dogs for a walk here. I used to bring my dog Gracie here, and there was a lot for dogs to do here. Sniff around. I almost fell then. And it's very convenient. If you wanted to let your dog off the lead, it's a really good place to do that. And I'm just following the steps down. It can be treacherous in wet weather, but there's a good handrail here. And at the base of this walk, there is a soil bank, a very steep bank. And it's plays the home to a number of different moss species. And we can see some over here, some quite large patches. Now this moss is a classic woodland moss, and it's called Kindbergia praelonga, and it's very distinctive. It's one of the commonest mosses in Britain. I think it was recorded recently as the commonest moss in this country. And you can just see it there. The fern-like leaves are very distinctive. And here's another very distinctive one. I'm not quite sure what this is. I'll have a look when I get back in my moss ID book and try and name this. I'll put it in the subscript. And you can see there's quite a lot of this Kindbergia moss here. It's a very common, and particularly in shady, moist areas of soil. And here's another species of moss, which I'm not sure about its identity. I'll try and find it. And place its ID in the subscript. And a grain growing in the mosses near the base of a tree. We've got one particularly that is very distinctive and stands out. And this is a Physidens moss, probably Physidens taxifolius. But it's a beautiful moss, and it has a sort of double row of leaves that make this particular group stand out amongst other mosses. And I'm going to end this walk now. Hope you've been able to see that there are quite a few different mosses just growing on a short walkway near my own home, and perhaps the one that's easiest to identify, two easy ones, are Kindbergia and Physidens. So, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.